Hi friends, good morning to everyone. In the last session, we have focused on how to reverse a given integer. We have seen how to find the greatest common divisor, that is the greatest common factor of two integers. And then we have explored the Fibonacci sequence. How do we find the nth number in that sequence, or how to print the first n numbers in that sequence. Then we have seen the conversions from binary to decimal and decimal to binary. Hope all of you have gone through the materials and video sessions. First, in case if you have any queries, you can ask now.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Have any doubts in the last session?
No, sir, it was very clear.
Very good. Good. In this session, we focus on the fundamentals in C programming language. I am sharing the screen. Please check it. First, C. C is a high-level programming language developed by Dennis Rich. The birth of C programming was in 1970s. 1970s. The language C has been developed from BCDL, Basic Combined Programming Language, and B language, and the concept of structured programming are introduced. Structured programming. Structured programming, this is a programming paradigm in which the problem can be solved easily by applying some structured programming concepts, say sequence, selection, iteration. Any programming language that supports these constructs are said to be structured programming. Sequence means, please recall that we have solved several algorithms in which we have returned some well-defined instructions like this, S1, S2, S3, etc. How are the sequences get executed? The sequences are executed, or instructions are executed in the order of definition. That means in what order the instructions are defined. S1 is executed first, S2 is executed second, etc. Sn is executed nth time. So in the sequential order, the well-defined instructions or statements are going to be executed. That is the logic of sequence. Selection, based on the condition, control is transferred to the specific part, as we have seen in the quadratic equation. D is equal to 0, we need to find the real and equal roots. When D is greater than 0, we need to find two distinct real roots. When D is less than 0, we need to find the imaginary roots. So based on this conditional test, control is transferred to execute a particular selective statement or selective statements. That is the logic of selection. So clearly, right, in the algorithms we have explored several conditional statements. Based on the condition, a particular part will get executed. For example, if A is greater than B, in minimum and maximum we have explored the statement. If A is greater than B, then max is equal to A, else max is equal to B. So if the condition A greater than B is true, then selectively the true part will get executed. If the condition is false, if A greater than B is false, then say max, a variable which finds the maximum of A and B, max is equal to B, gets executed. This is one kind of selection. Iteration, repetitively, iteratively, some of the well-defined instructions are executed until certain condition is going to be satisfied. For example, the for loop, right? We have used for loop at different times, and we have also used the while loop, for, while, right? Repeat until. These are some conditional control statements. These are used to execute some set of statements iteratively or repetitively until the condition is going to be satisfied. For example, in the sum of n numbers we have used for I is equal to 1 to n 2. In the nth Fibonacci number, right, we need to start, right, count 2 onwards, count is equal to 2 or count is 3, or we can set, right, for something I is equal to 1, I less than or equal to n, I plus plus. So until the condition I less than or equal to n remains true, the part of for or part of while which are returning the opening and closing curly braces are getting executed. That is iteration. So basically, right, see, there are two kinds of, right, programming languages. One is non-structured programming languages, second one structured programming languages. Non-structured programming languages, we have some examples. Non-structured programming languages, say BASIC, Fortran, beginner's all-purpose symbolic instruction code, that is BASIC, beginner's all-purpose symbolic instruction code. Formula translation, a scientific programming language. COBOL, common business oriented language. These are non-structured programming languages in which specific coding format is required to write a program. For example, you might have seen a simple basic program, 10 input A, 20 input B, 30 C is equal to A plus B, 40 print to C, 50 stop, 60 end. Do not worry about, right, this code. Just have the basic code, right, basic program. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, right, these are statement numbers. I just give an example, right, to illustrate what is a non-structured programming language which requires a specific coding format. 10, 20, 30, 40, right, these are statement numbers, right, it can be you can use 8 integers 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. 10, 11, 12, 13, or in between 10 and 20 if you need future statement insertion. So that's what we have a gap, right? 10. These are instructions, right, as given in the basic programming language. After the statement number, you need to have a space. This is space. Here space. I write, right? P is strike out, right, to indicate the space, blank space. 10 blank space. This kind of specific coding format is required in some programming languages. Those are said to be non-structured programming languages, say basic, Fortran, COBOL. These are non-structured programming languages. There are certain structured programming languages which are based on these concepts: sequence, selection, and iteration. For example, we can say C, C++, Java, Pascal. These are the structured programming languages in which no specific coding format is required. No specific coding format is required in these programming languages. The programmer will be free from write the code. There is no statement number, then space, write something, instructions like that. No specific coding format is required, right? So this way, basically, structured programming differs from non-structured programming languages. So we are free from, right, this specific coding format constraints in writing C programs. You need to understand first that. Second, C is said to be a general purpose programming language. General purpose high level programming language which is used to solve any real world problem. C supports, right, block of code. That means we can enclose some statements, for example S1, S2, etc., Sn, in between this opening and closing curly brace. This symbol is the opening curly brace. This is the closing curly brace. So anything that is included in between this opening and closing curly brace defines the block of code, right? We can have several executable statements. This forms the basis, right, to split the complex problem into a set of smaller problems that can be done with the help of functions. So just I am pointing, right, the features of the C language: general purpose language, code block supporting functions which are used to define some specific task. There are two kinds of functions. One is the user defined functions. Second one, built-in functions. Some functions, right, need to be defined explicitly by the user based on the requirement. Some functions are defined as the built-in or standard functions. We can use the standard functions which are defined in the corresponding C programming library. Then structures. To solve some complex problems, we can use the concept of structures, unions. Then we can use the pointers concept. These are the features of C language. which are focusing to solve a wide variety of real world problems. So with this basic fundamental C programming language, let us see the general structure of a C program. Hereafter, we are entering in the core part of C language, in which we need to focus on how to solve the problems using C programming language based on the features of C. So in general, as we pointed out here, functions, user-defined functions, built-in functions are there. We need to define a main function. Main function is defined, for example, simply main, void main, or int main. Within this opening and closing curly braces, we need to define the main function statements. Main function statements are defined within this opening and closing curly braces. Before that, right here at the top, what we can have the documentation section. Documentation section. The documentation section, which is used to tell the purpose of the program. For example, we can define right in terms of comments. Comments can be defined as single line comment, another one, this is a multi-line comments. Single line comments in C start with slash star and ends with star slash. Multi-line comment, sorry, this is single line comment, right? Double slash, single line comment. Multi-line comment start with slash star and ends with star slash. Single line comment, right? Following this, right? Here you can provide some comment, the purpose of the program, or purpose of write something variables, functions. In multi-line comment, right, anything that is enclosed within slash star and star slash are ignored by the compiler. So the purpose of the program can be written using the comment section, right? That is documentation section. Following this, right, you can define the header file section, right? Header files. For example, we can include the necessary header files which are required to run the main function. For example, hash include stdio.h. This is the header file which stands for standard input output header file. All the standard input output functions are defined in this header file. That's why all C program must include this header file section. That's linking section, right? Header file section or linking section. We need to include the header files hash include stdio.h. For example, if you want to use some mathematical operations, square root, you can include math.h, hash include math.h. These are predefined or built-in header files. Math.h, right? Built-in header file. We can use double, right? This one, quote symbol, or this way, angle bracket, less than stdio.h, then greater than. So following the comment section, that is an optional one. If we need, right, we can have several comments wherever we want in our program. So the comments enhance readability. Others, right, can easily, right, follow for what kind of purpose, right, for what purpose the program has been written. For that purpose, right, we can introduce comments then and there. All C programs, right, must have this header file section. For example, hash include stdio.h necessary in all C programs. Then we can have, right, global variables. Right here we can have global declaration section. Global declaration. As far as right now the global declaration section is concerned, we can define the variables and the functions, so that the variables and the functions, or we can define some constants. These can be accessible anywhere within the program, so that it can be accessible even inside the main function and following the function main function called here user defined function. Here we can define user defined function 1, then user defined function 2, etc. user defined function n. The thing is, we have a complex problem. To solve the complex problem, we can split the process into several sub functions. That's what we have the concept called user defined functions. Even other than the built-in functions, we can split our task complex process into some number of user defined functions. So all user defined functions are defined following the closing curly brace of main function section. For example, here we can define user defined function 1, function 2, function 3, etc. function n. We can define any number of functions following the user defined function. Then and there, right, whenever we require the functions can be called, right. One function can call another function. Main can call a function 1. Main can call a function 2. Main can call a function n. Function 1 can call function 2. Function 2 can call function 3. Function 3 can call the n2 function. These are the features available, right, in the general structure of a C program. So just to have an idea, whatever is the problem to be solved in a C language, first we are trying to write the comment section in a single line or a multi-line. Suppose in the single line, when the comments are right not finished, suppose it needs to continue in the next line, we can write slash star, right. This is a program to find the nth Fibonacci number. Then we can enclose, right, this string message or comments message in slash star and star slash symbols as the comments. Then including the header file stdio.h. This is necessary for all the C programs. Then we can write a main function within the opening and closing curly braces. We can have the executable statements of the C program. Next, right, you need to think of what is the C editor, right, that we need to use. There are different editors available, right. We can use the text editor like this. What I am using right this version, Turbo C++. Please wait, I tell you in detail, right, how to download Turbo C++, and I tell you, right, all the possible options. So please wait. You need to enter into the Google For example, you type this query turbo C or turbo C++, can use 4.5 version. Turbo C++ for Windows 10, 7, 32-bit, 64-bit. Before that, you need to check your operating system. So to check your operating system, go to My Computer, right click, Properties, yeah, right click into Properties. Here you can find the operating system, 32-bit operating system, right? So I have installed Windows 10 and mine is the 32-bit operating system, x64 based processor. So Windows 10 32-bit. You need to think of this. So first identify what kind of operating system and check if it is a 32-bit or 64-bit. Then type the query accordingly. Turbo C++ 4.5. You can use a 32-bit. Then specify Windows 10 or Windows 7 or 64-bit. Then press enter. Here right there are several links where you can download right Turbo C++ for different platforms 7, 8, 8.1 something. Or you can use right this query or phrase Borland Turbo C++ 4.5. So if you go through this automatically, right, you will be getting some executable file. Your file will be in this form, right? I show it. Turbo C++. I am pointing right the third one. Turbo C++. So WinRAR zip archive. This file will be downloaded. File size is very less. Just right at 24.8 MB. Once you downloaded this, right, you need to extract and install. It asks you, right, in which drive you need to install. You can choose your drive, C drive, D drive, E drive, or something. So I have right already downloaded the versions, right? Turbo C++ 4.5, 64-bit. 64-bit, right, which also takes right that much amount of space, nearly 25 MB, right, will be. Likewise here Turbo C++ 4.5, 32-bit. Here this is the actual file name. After the download and extraction, install it. This will get installed in your machine. Then you can find the desktop icon. It looks like this, Turbo C++. If you click this, you can get right this appearance. To learn right the version of this Turbo C++, go to help, about, you can find Turbo C++ version 4.5. This is Borland, right, the corporation. You can find right this icon. First thing, understand, this is the common compiler and runtime system for common editor, compiler, runtime system, or common, right, C, C++ environment. That means this is common for both languages C and C++. Do not confuse first. Turbo C++, this supports both C as well as C++ coding. So you need not worry about right C or C++, common to both languages. This is one possibility where you can download this version, Turbo C version, based on your operating system and the size 32-bit or 64-bit.
Sir,
Otherwise, you can use Dev's. Yes.
it says Turbo C++ is not available for Mac.
Okay, don't worry, right? I will share the link, right? I have for Windows operating system. You do one thing. You try to check for right several links. Here you can find right next page something. See more. Try to find. Otherwise, right, I tell you some other options. You can go for right Dev C++ or Dev DEV. That option. That is another option.
Sir, I
Normal
have Cilion
language.
compiler.
What on?
I have Cilion compiler, sir. Is that okay to use in that?
Yeah, yeah. Whichever is right suitable, right, or whichever is installed, right, in your machine you can use. So please wait. Let me complete within few
Okay, sir.
minutes. Uh, Another possibility, right? You can use right normal TC compiler. TCR, it appears right as a turbo C. In the blue like environment, right, the editor will appear. That is also right one possibility. Another chance in case if you are using Linux operating system, you need to find the suitable C environment in the Linux operating system, right? That is another chance. If you are using Windows, right, you need to find the environment accordingly. In case if this is a problem, right, in the installation in your machine, suppose operating system is not compatible. In that stage, don't worry, lot of online compilers are available. So just type online C compiler, you can find this one, online GDB. Here this is the environment, right, where we can edit the program, then run the program so that the results will be displaying at the bottom of the web page. This is one facility. If not, we can use this one. C online compiler as given in program IZ. Our online C compiler rate tutorials point C1 compiler you can write, run, right, and even right you can download or share your C program. So online C compiler IDE, right? I like much, right, this compiler. Online C compiler which comes in JDoodle, right, environment. So here you can find, right, this is a better version, jdoodle.com/C online compiler. For example, right, this is a program. In case if you want to execute the program, just to have, right, this is one sample program. Variable x is initialized, y is initialized, addition is carried out, and the sum is printed. We will explore right the instructions right one by one. Just I show you the environment. If you execute right here, you will get result. Sum of x plus y is 35. So you can use right any of these online compilers. After the successful execution, if you want to save the program in your machine, select, right click, copy, open the notepad, paste it, save the file in your machine. So you can use right any of the online compilers or the available right environment, C environment, whatever is right most suited to your machine. Understand?
Sir, is
Check
Google
your
Colab
operating
fine
system.
with C?
Google,
Google Collaborate.
Google, tell me. Okay, find right. So that's what I say. Decide, check your operating system, bit version 32 or 64. Then Google it, right? Try to download the files and install it. In case there is a problem, check for some alternative, right? C environment. Even right, if it is not possible, so only the last option you try to go for the online compiler. You need not worry about right to have the actual C version in your machine. Because online compiler at any time, right, you can even edit the file using the notepad. You can save it, then copy and paste it in the online C editor in the environment, right. You can easily compile or debug and run the program. That is possible. Here I have installed, right, this Turbo C++ Borland version, right, 4.5. This is the reliable, right, and convenient version to learn, right, the C++ language. All environment is same, right, almost the same. So you need not worry about it. Will there be any significant difference between, for example, JDoodle C2, this Turbo C++? No such significant difference. All are same. You need not worry about it. Here, right, some menus are there: file, edit, search, view something. In the file menu, right, you can go for the new option. In the new option, right, if you click this, automatically file name is shown as something default name, no name 0506.cpp. This does not mean that it runs only C++ program. I already said. This is the common runtime system for both C and C++ languages. So in this editor, we can program, right? We can edit, right? Type the executable statements. For example, in JDoodle C, click here, you can find online C compiler. Here, this is the place where we can copy paste the code or we can type the code. Let us start with a simple program, right, and I show you how to run the same in the online C compiler and in this version. First, this is our simple program. First simple program. First simple C program. If you want to increase, right, the size, maximum size, right, you can click here, size will be maximum. Okay. Why I have used a double slash? What is the purpose of this double slash?
Comment.
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 Yeah, comment
Single
line.
line.
Single line comment, very good. Or you can use slash star, first simple C program that ends with star slash, as we discussed here. Slash star ends with star slash. You can introduce any number of command lines. That is not an issue because compiler, right, will not bother about, right, this command lines. Just for program readability, other users can easily know for what purpose the program is written. That is the purpose of introducing the comments. Comments enhances the readability of the program, clarity. Then, I said earlier, all C programs must have a header file #include stdio.h. You can type this file in two ways. For example, #include listen stdio.h greater than #include space listen stdio.h, right? All are same. So you can use, right, any of these versions. #include stdio.h in double quotes or #include listen bracket stdio.h. Then we need to have a main function. So what is a main function? MAIN, main. This is the name of the function. This is not a keyword or reserved word in the C language. Main is a function that signifies where the program execution begins. So when we run the program execution begins from the main section. Please understand, we have defined several algorithms. Step 1 start, step 2 input, step 3 computation, step 4 print, then stop end. In that, the flow of execution starts from step 1. Step 1 start. So we are ready to write execute the instructions. Step 1 start. Step 2 write get input variables. Sequentially from step 1, our well-defined instructions in the algorithm are executed. In the same way, we need to write execute the statements from one special function called a main function, and this is mandatory required in all C programs. So every C program must have a main function that is defined like this: int main or void main, whatever is. Can I follow right? Int main. Here this int indicates that upon the successful compilation of the program, the main function returns some value to the operating system. So finally, right, some compiler requires the usage of some integer return value. For example, we need to use return 0 at the end, return 1, return 2, anything, right, we can pass that value to the operating system. So you need not worry about, right, what value, right, is actually returned to the operating system. That's not necessary, just a confirmation to conclude the main function has successfully completed the execution and some values returned to the operating system, integer values returned to the operating system. That is the purpose of this int. You can see, right, int is highlighted. You can see the color effect. Main is in the normal mode, but int is in the bold mode. So anything that is highlighted, like here for, right, I write some codes for, while, do, switch, default, volatile, right? These are some of the keywords, reserved words in a C program. These reserved words, right, when you type in the editor, automatically this is highlighted. For example, I type, right, what is sum, what is average, what is square, SQUARE. These are not highlighted. This indicates that these are not the reserved words in C language. These are the reserved words, right, in a C language, right, particularly the keywords. So later, right, we explore that. So as of now, right, just to think of what is int. Int is one data type, right? The main function returns some integer value to the operating system. Main is a main function that is a predefined function defined. The function, right, takes parameters. Parameters are arguments. So what are parameters or arguments? We can pass some values as inputs to the function. So as of now, right, I don't want to, right, focus on the parameters of main. Later, after discussing, right, the functions, right, I tell you how to pass some parameters to the main function externally. So as of now, just to have the empty parameter list, main, opening parenthesis, this is simple, right? I write in comment. This is read as parenthesis. Yes, parenthesis, singular, parenthesis, a plural. Opening and closing parenthesis. So main function should have this structure: return type, main, opening parenthesis, a closing parenthesis. As of now, main method takes no parameter. That means parameter is empty. Then within the opening and closing curly brace, to you can write any executable statement in C language. This indentation is not necessary. Here itself you can start, or you can start from leaving some space. For example, I leave one space. For clarity, that's all. To signify opening and closing curly braces. And I need to leave one space. This is not necessary. Do we need to leave spaces? No, because C is a structured programming language. As we discussed earlier, this is a free form language. Free form language. There is no specific coding form. You can open the editor, and you can type the program in any way, Spaces are not significant here. I like to introduce one function called first printf function. In printf, I give this welcome message. Welcome to learn C language. This is given in double quotes and specified in a printf function. What is printf? Printf is the output function that is defined in stdio.h header file. So the purpose of printf function, all functions are taking name, function name. Then within the parenthesis, opening and closing parenthesis, you need to define the values. Values can be parameters or strings, messages like this. Within the double quotes, opening and closing double quote, I have given the message, for example, welcome to learn a C language. And all executable statements in the C language ends with a semicolon. This notation I write in command. You type like this, after L, keyboard key. Then you can find the two things. This is colon. I write in the next line, command. This is semicolon. All executable statement in the C language should end with a semicolon, So since the printf is an executable statement, finally we need to end with a semicolon. This is the first simple program, C program. Hash include is a preprocessor directive, which links the header file stdio.h, standard input output header file. All of the functions are included into this program. So once you are returned this code, you need to save the program. Go to file, option save. Let me give the file name as, for example, I give the file name is CP, C program 1, CP1. Lowercase, uppercase, you need not worry about, File name, it should be a reasonable name, C, for my indication, C program 1. Then I click enter or OK. You can see the file name is appeared here. Previously it was no name something .cpp. Again I tell you, file extension in this environment is by default .cpp. This means this need not be a C++ program. This is actually a C program. So you need not worry about the file extension in this environment. By default, extension is taken as .cpp, You need not worry about. So file is saved. Right now, save is disabled because no changes are made. If I press enter, you can see the save is enabled because some changes are made in the current version, So this is the colon, then is semicolon. Okay. File. I have saved the file. Then you can see the options. This is edit option. As you work with the notepad, right, you can find right copy paste operations. You can select the line, right, control insert, keyboard shortcut for copy, shift insert, keyboard shortcut for paste, right. When you work right automatically, right, you learn this experience. So once the file is saved, right, you can go for debug menu. In the debug menu, we can run the program to check if any compile time errors are there. So go to right debug, run control F9 or simply from your keyboard press F9. F9 is for compilation. It reports if any compile time errors are there, that will be reported. Control, if you press control F9, in case after the successful completion of compilation, it goes for running state. So I show you step by step. I press F9, that's all. Just I press F9 in the keyboard. It shows the compile status. File name is exe file, cp1.exe, right? Then linking, right, you need not worry about. Check if any errors are there. Errors 0, no problem. That means the program has been compiled successfully. Then you can press Ctrl F9. I press Ctrl F9. I see the message. Welcome to learn C language. This is the output window. Now you have the executable file cp1.exe. The message is welcome to learn C language. If you want, right, you can go to edit option, select all, then edit option, select all. You can select right this thing, then edit, copy, and you can paste right wherever you require the output. To close this, right, you can use right this close mark. Program execution is completed. Simply, right, once you type the program, go to options, sorry, go to debug, run control F9. In this case, I clicked the right debug, run control F9. So if there are any compile time errors are reported first. After you remove the compile time errors, the program is ready to run. Then you can get the output if the program has successfully completed its execution or successfully right started to complete its execution during the interaction. This is the first simple C program. In case if anything is incorrect, for example, hash include, I missed E, file, save, I try to run the program, debug, run. See the error message, errors 2, click OK. Errors are reported sequentially. You can move the errors, right? You can use the arrow keys so that the lines can be, right? The error messages can be marked here. First line, second line, warning. Error 1. What is error message? Unknown a preprocessor directive includ. So it seems this line is marked as
டைனிங் டேபிள்
this
மட்டும்
is
உள்ளே தாங்கி ஒரே முடியுது.
this is the incorrect syntax. Then here
இல்ல என்னது
printf call to undefined function.
அதனோட சந்தேகம்.
Please all of you mute
ನಂಗೆ
yourself.
ಸರಿ ಇಡದೆ ನಂಗೆ ಇನ್ನ 2 ಕುರ್ತಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಮನೇಲಿ ಹಾಕಲ್ದೆ ಅದಾನ ಟೀ ಶರ್ಟ್ ಸುತ್ತಿ ಮುಟ್ಟಿ
Please mute yourself.
ನಾನೇ ಇನ್ನ ಒಂದನೇ ಇನ್ನ ಮಾಡುವಲ್ಲ ನಾನು 3 ಸೆಟ್ ಕುರ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು.
Please Harini mute yourself. Okay. So here if any compile time errors are available, right, the compile time errors are reported, or in the first line if you press enter, here you can see the error message, right? What is the error message? This is the invalid preprocessor directive includ. So you need to correct it. E is missed. Space, right, not necessary, right? If you use space, no problem. clarity is okay. Now click save, then debug, run, control F9. We are getting the result. This is the first simple C program. Understand? Understand or not?
Yes, sir.
Now, right, I move on to the next example. So to move on to the next example, right, if you want, you can use this close option. So before that, right, I tell you how to run the same in the online compiler. If you are typing this code in the notepad, you can copy, right, edit, copy, control insert, then go for online C compiler, right click, paste is enabled, click paste, that's all, click execute. It's in the running state, okay, it takes some time, no problem. You can get the output, right? Welcome to learn a C language. So as of now, right, just to think of, printf is a function that is defined in stdio.h as output function that outputs the message. Whatever you want to display in double quotes, that will be displayed, right? You can have any number of printf statements, right? Now, right, we need to go through the uh, programming in C, right, in detail. So this is a first simple C program. In case if you want to use this online C compiler, no problem. Directly you can type the program, right, and you can execute it. After this typing, if you want to save your work, right click, copy, then open the notepad, and you can save your file. You can also right check some other compilers where right you need to create a login, right, to check it. Then once you are working the programs will be saved in your login, right? You can find right such compilers, right, online. That's also a nice one. So in this case, right, if you want to go for another program, I need to close this, then click file again, new. For example, I write to find the sum of three integers. How do we write a code? Hash include, right, stdio.h to tell at any stage, right, what is stdio.h? Standard input output header file. That defines the entire functions for input output operations. This needs to be included in all C program. Then write into main here. I do like to define the variables, so I write using the data type, right, into x, right, x is equal to 10, then into y is equal to 20, into z is equal to 30. Or even you can write these three statements as in x is equal to 10, comma, y is equal to 20, comma, z is equal to 30. Both are same. Here int is the data type and x is the variable, right? I write a few comments here. Int, this is the data type. What type of value is going to be stored here? What are x, y, z? X, y, z. These are variables as we use in the algorithm. Variables. 10, 20, 30, right? These are constants. 10, 20, 30. These are constants. So having the initialization of three variables, say x, y, z, I do like to write print the sum. Int sum is equal to x plus y plus z. So I am printing the result. Print out. Directly I use percentage d, comma, sum. Here percentage d, this is the integer format specifier to print the result in the integer format. Sum is the variable. The value of the variable sum is replaced here so that you can get the sum, right, as a replacement for percentage d, right? Percentage d is for the integer format specification. Percentage f is for floating point format specification. First you need to learn these two things. Percentage d is the integer, percentage, right, f, that is what, a floating point format specifier. I need to save the file save cp2, C program 2. Then I click debug, run. Good, no runtime error or no compile time errors are there. So here I can see the message, this one. 60, 10 plus 20 plus 30, the 60 is printed. In case if you want to get a result, right, in terms of the message, sum is colon percentage d sum. In this case, what happens? Sum is colon up to this string message is output. This percentage d, this is necessary to print the value of variable sum. In this case, I run the code, can get the result. Sum is 60. Yes.
Sir, instead of giving the in function for each variable, we can give it. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, yes, tell me. Vigneshwaran, tell me.
Sir, instead of giving the variable separately, we can give it fully, right? Like in a comma b comma c. In one line itself, we can.
Yeah,
do
that
it,
is
right?
possible. Yeah, in one line, that is possible. I have written right here.
Yes, sir. Because I
Reading
tried.
here.
I have tried it.
Yeah, int x is equal to 10, y is 20, z is 30, comma sum, right? That is possible, right? We are moving right one by one. So this is one multi-line declarations. These are multi-line declarations. You can also declare this in a single line itself. Int x comma y comma z comma sum. Or int x is equal to 10, y is equal to 20, z is equal to 30, comma sum. Whatever is, right? Here in case if you want to print the result by including the message, you need to use this string message. Printf sum is, then this percentage d is replaced by sum. So it looks nice. Sum is 60, better than the previous output. Simply there 60. Now the output is sum is 60. Have any doubts?
Sir, what is the percentage
Understand
d
the
do there?
percentage d, this is the significance of integer output. Sum is, right, a variable, integer variable. To print the value of integer variable, you must use percentage d format specifier in the printf statement. Clear?
Is that compulsory?
Yes, yes, it's compulsory, Vaishnavi. In case if you miss, I miss percentage, I save. What happens? You will not get any compile time error, but while you run the code, you will get this result. Are you seeing the output window?
Yes, sir.
Are you seeing this output window? Sum is colon, it's showing. Okay, what's showing after sum is colon?
Nothing.
Nothing. Good. No number is displayed because here since we didn't try to print the value of sum, or we didn't force the variable sum to be printed in the integer format, then right nothing gets printed. So it is necessary to use percentage d for integer format output, integer output variable.